I'm 107 years old, and I'm going to tell you something that no doctor, no nutritionist, no fancy health guru will ever admit. The secret to living this long isn't medicine. It isn't genetics. It's 8 foods. 8 simple foods that I've eaten nearly every single day of my life. And before you scroll away thinking this is just another health video, let me tell you something. I've buried 3 doctors, 3 men who told me what to eat, what not to eat, who warned me about my habits. They're all gone. And here I am, still making my own breakfast every morning. My name is Samuel, though most folks around here just call me Old Sam. I was born in 1919, the year the world was still recovering from one war and had no idea another was coming. I've seen things change that you wouldn't believe. I watched horses give way to automobiles, watched men walk on the moon, watched telephones shrink from boxes on the wall to little glass rectangles in everyone's pocket. But you know what hasn't changed? What my body needs to keep going. That hasn't changed one bit. Now let me take you back to where this all started. I grew up on a small farm in rural Ohio. We didn't have much. My father worked the land until his hands bled, and my mother stretched every dollar like it was made of rubber. We couldn't afford doctors, couldn't afford fancy foods shipped in from far away. We ate what we grew, what the land gave us. And here's what I didn't understand until much, much later. That poverty, that simplicity, that was the greatest gift anyone ever gave me. The first food I need to tell you about is beans. Plain old beans. My mother cooked beans 3, sometimes 4 times a week. Black beans, kidney beans, white beans, didn't matter. We had beans with everything. As a boy, I was embarrassed by this. The kids at school whose fathers had better jobs, they ate meat every night. They had store-bought bread. And there I was with my bean soup in a tin container. I remember one boy, his name was Richard. He laughed at my lunch once, called it poor people food. Richard died at 62, heart attack, and I'm still here, still eating my beans, still alive at 107. The second food is olive oil. Now this one I didn't discover until later. When I was 23, I joined the Army. They shipped me overseas, and I ended up spending time in a small village in Italy. The people there, they put olive oil on everything. Bread, vegetables, fish, you name it. I watched an old woman there, must have been 90 years old, walking up a steep hill every single morning to tend her garden. I asked her son what her secret was. He laughed and pointed to the olive oil on the table. He said his mother had been drinking a spoonful of it every morning since before he was born. I started doing the same thing. I'm still doing it every single morning. The third food is leafy greens, spinach, kale, collard greens, whatever you can get your hands on. My wife, Eleanor, God rest her soul, she was the one who really drilled this into me. She passed away 12 years ago at 94, and until her last month on this earth, she was sharp as a tack. Never forgot a name, never forgot a face. She credited the greens. Every lunch, every dinner, there was something green on the plate. She used to say the color green is the color of life, and she wasn't wrong. Now here's where I need you to pay close attention, because the fourth food is the one that surprises everyone. Eggs. Whole eggs, yolk and all. For decades, doctors told us eggs were dangerous. Too much cholesterol, they said. Bad for your heart, they said. I ignored every single one of them. My father ate eggs every morning of his life. He lived to 91. His father did the same, lived to 89. I've eaten eggs nearly every day for over 100 years. The doctors were wrong. They're often wrong. Your grandmother knew more about nutrition than most people with medical degrees. The fifth food is fish. And I don't mean those breaded, fried things you get at fast food restaurants. I mean real fish. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, fish that still looks like fish. After the war, I moved to the Pacific Northwest for a few years, worked on a fishing boat. We ate what we caught, fresh fish every single day. Those were some of the healthiest years of my life. I felt strong, my mind was clear, my joints didn't ache. When I moved back east, I made sure to keep fish in my diet, at least 3 times a week, sometimes more. The sixth food is something so simple you might laugh. Garlic. Raw garlic. My grandmother on my mother's side came from Eastern Europe. She had old country remedies for everything, and almost all of them involved garlic. When I got sick as a child, she'd crush garlic into warm water and make me drink it. When I had a cut, she'd rub garlic on it. I used to hate the smell, used to be embarrassed by it. Now I eat a clove of raw garlic every single day. Just chop it up, swallow it with water. People ask me how I never get sick. That's how. That right there. The seventh food is nuts. Almonds, walnuts, whatever you prefer. This is something Eleanor taught me. She kept a bowl of mixed nuts on the counter, and throughout the day she'd grab a handful, just a small handful, nothing excessive. She said her mother did the same, and her mother lived to 97. I picked up the habit. Still have my bowl of nuts sitting right there in the kitchen. Some days that's my whole snack. Just nuts and maybe a piece of fruit. And that brings me to the eighth food, berries. Blueberries, blackberries, strawberries when they're in season. This is the one food I truly believe keeps the mind sharp. I've seen too many people my age lose themselves. Their bodies keep going, but their minds fade away. They forget their children's names. They forget where they are. I made a promise to myself a long time ago that I would fight that with everything I have. Berries are part of that fight. Every single morning, with my eggs, I have a handful of berries. Sometimes I put them in a little yogurt. Sometimes I just eat them plain. But I never skip them. Now, here's what I need you to understand. It's not just about these 8 foods. It's about what I didn't eat. I never touched soda. Never. Not once in my entire life. When I was young, it was a luxury we couldn't afford. By the time I could afford it, I'd seen what it did to people. Rotted their teeth, expanded their waistlines, made them tired and sluggish. I stuck with water, tea, and the occasional glass of wine. That's it. I also stayed away from anything that came in a package with a list of ingredients I couldn't pronounce. If my grandmother wouldn't recognize it as food, I didn't eat it. Simple as that. People today eat things that aren't really food. They're chemicals, shaped like food, colored like food, flavored like food, but they're not food. Your body knows the difference, even if your tongue doesn't. And here's the thing that nobody wants to hear. It's not about perfection. I've had cake at birthday parties. I've eaten pie at Thanksgiving. I'm not a monk. I'm a human being who's lived a full life. The key is what you do most of the time, not what you do once in a while. Most of the time, I ate those 8 foods. Most of the time, I avoided the things I knew were harmful. And most of the time, I moved my body, walked everywhere I could, worked with my hands, stayed active. I'm telling you all this because I wish someone had told me when I was your age. I figured it out through trial and error, through watching people around me get sick and trying to understand why. You don't have to figure it out the hard way. You can start today, right now, with your very next meal. The body you have is the only one you'll ever get. Treat it like it has to last 100 years, because maybe it does. Maybe you'll be sitting where I'm sitting one day, looking back on a long and healthy life, grateful that you listened to some old man on the internet who told you to eat your beans and your berries. I want to hear from you now. Tell me in the comments what foods have kept you or your family healthy. Tell me about your grandmother's cooking, your grandfather's habits. I read every single comment, and at my age, those stories keep me company on the quiet nights. If this meant something to you, if you felt something while listening to this, subscribe to this channel. Not for me, for the person you'll be in 30, 40, 50 years. That person will thank you. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone whose health is failing, someone who's lost their way with food, share this with them. It might just change their life. It might even save it. I've been alive for 107 years. I've seen empires rise and fall, technologies born and die, generations come and go. But the simple things never change. Good food, clean water, movement, and love. That's all you need. That's all you've ever needed. Take care of yourself. You're worth it.